What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I'm feeling like 100 grand.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Wise.
Hey, Jeremy Weiss here from InspiredInsider.com. This episode is going to be a little bit different. This is live. I'm at a high-level mastermind in Colorado right now, and I'm going to be interviewing some of the top entrepreneurs and what they're working on and some of their biggest tips and tricks and advice. And so I hope you enjoy. All right, Jeremy Weiss here. I'm live actually in Colorado in the Jason Swank Mastermind. I'm here with Brian, some of the smartest marketing minds and business minds in the world. Brian, no pressure. So Brian, just tell people your name and your company and what you do.
All right, I'm Brian Cosgrove. My company's BrainDo, and we provide a number of different marketing consulting services for large enterprise companies.
Okay. And so, you know, I know one of the things that you do is you, when you talk, it's sometimes above my head because you analyze all the data that's coming in from all these channels, and you work with large enterprise, sometimes e-commerce companies. So if someone comes to you like that, and like, we want to get a hold of our data so we know what product services we should deploy, what we should be doing. Talk about when they first come to you, what do you start doing with them?
First thing that we end up doing is, we very often do a bit of an audit to try to figure out what kind of data they're actually collecting and how it's being captured. And we spend quite a bit of time making sure that we've actually got all of the right capture points, the data systems that we're sending the data to are able to collect them all, that we're compliant with all the privacy restrictions, with all the different legal pieces, and that we're sending data to the right tools that they're going to be using moving forward.
What's the goal? Like when they come to you, like, Brian, here's what we want to accomplish.
Quite frankly, they want their data to be available to them to start serving their business in a bigger and bigger way. So more than anything, what we're focused on is looking right there at the front lines of the instrumentation to make sure that everything's 100% locked in and is future-proof so that we can send data to any different platform that they need to, that we've got a really, really solid handle, that we've wrangled the data for both the improvement of the website or application as a digital product, as well as all of the different channels, all the different traffic driving activities that they have leading to it. And so we spend a lot of time untangling a lot of that.
What are some examples for people like where you're pulling in data from?
We'll pull data into tools like Adobe Analytics, Google Analytics, Amplitude, Mixpanel, things like that. A lot of the different like clickstream tools. But we've actually been doing a lot more with taking data to companies first party, because from a privacy standpoint, for companies that are bold, want to be a bit ahead of the curve of where things are going. They'd like to own their own data. They'd like to have first direct access to it. And that gives us the ability to bring in a lot more detail than we might be able to squeeze in to the fixed schema, the fixed kind of data structure that those other tools have. For they only have so many places for you to put the data.
Yeah. So a lot of these companies they're kind of fragmented. They have their data in all these different places, and you kind of bring it into one source and then analyze it.
We do. So we aggregate all the data from all their different marketing platforms. We aggregate data from their back end. So in an e-commerce, it would be their order management system back end. But we'll bring in data from any CRM and any other systems that they have. And we'll work with them to create a data lake so they can start doing a lot of their advanced reporting off of it. It's the clickstream piece, though, that we're getting asked to help out with the most right now, with the transition to Google Analytics 4, with a lot of things happening legally. A lot of like countries in Europe that have banned certain tools or different restrictions around privacy. We're being asked to instrument things in a way that sets them up for the future in a way that they're legally compliant. They can collect the most data and they can keep their operations running.
What kind of decisions do you see the companies making now that you've advised them? Yeah. You've collected the data. What decisions are they making based on that?
More companies are getting comfortable with the idea of first-party data collection. They might still keep their tools around as, for redundancies, but they're looking at the fact that they can capture more data and better data first party. And then they can determine on their end how they want to syndicate that data out or how they want to join it. So we're seeing that being a way to kind of, circumvent challenges that arise with all of their data sitting with third parties.
I mean, are they doing different things in sales and marketing or releases of products or services?
A lot of it is some of the team members are taking that, some of the clients are taking that work and they are feeding it into different kind of customer data platform type campaigns. So they're feeding it into personalization engines, recommendation engines. They're starting to use it in that way, in ways that weren't.
So they can get more kind of ideal clients that look like their ideal clients now.
Yeah, exactly. Or that they can quite frankly better serve the right offers and opportunities to the clients and the customers that are interested in them. So I mean, more than anything, it's they had all the data before, but it didn't talk to their other systems, and it wasn't first party. So
they can't make decisions on it.
Right.
Yeah.
There were always delays and other challenges around it.
Love it. Brian, where can people find you? Tell people the website again.
Brain.do. So we're easy to find.
Brain.do.
Yes.
Awesome. Check them out. Brain.do. Brian, thanks again.
Thank you, Jeremy.
All right, Jeremy Weiss here. I'm here live at the Jason Swank Mastermind. We're in Colorado. I'm here with Susan. And Susan, tell people a little bit about you, your company, and what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Susan Brake, and I am a Senior Vice President at Development Counselors International. And we are a place marketing firm that only works with cities, states, countries, and regions to help attract visitors, help attract businesses, or help attract the workforce.
How do people find you?
You go to aboutdci.com, and also we have really good content marketing.
Yeah. So are you allowed to say what states, places?
Yeah, so some of my clients are like the Netherlands. We work for a company called Invest in Holland. So one of our states, we did the state website for Mississippi.org, which is awesome. Mighty Mississippi. Mississippi has some cool things going on. We're also doing a full suite of websites for the state of Florida to help attract talent to different places in Florida. So that will be fun.
What states and cities do you want as a client in case they're listening? Should contact you.
Well, I'm from Kentucky.
Okay.
So if I could work for my old Kentucky home, it would make my heart swell.
Do they have usually, do you have cities contact, like Louisville will contact you, or will more of the state?
It depends.
Yeah.
It runs the gamut. So, yeah, we just work
Kentucky,
with
if you're listening. So who from the state usually is the one who's in charge of this?
It would be the Kentucky Economic Development Corporation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know their exact title, but it would be something like that. Yeah.
And so what would be an example when they come to you, some of the things that you do with them?
So our firm, now I'm in charge of our digital marketing, but our firm specializes in research. We specialize in branding and creative. We specialize in public relations. So a lot of times that's what we were known for, is public relations. You want to be on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, you contact our firm. But yeah, we really just support from the whole scope. And we have the research we have on why people visit a place, why a company would move to a place, or why workforce would choose a new location is it's beyond compare.
One of the things I want to talk to you about, which you're an expert at, is helping groom leaders from within. So a company is listening and they're like, yeah, we want to, allow our, team to see a path, and we want to groom great leaders. What advice do you have?
So we lean into positive psychology at my firm. So and I especially lean into it. But we use what's called StrengthsFinder. So everybody takes their StrengthsFinder test, and it pops out 5 of your top strengths. And from there, it puts those 5 strengths fall into 4 different quadrants. One's executing, one's influencing, one's relationship building, one's strategic. So it's really cool. It's a really great tool for us to use because I can look and say,
and there's a book, StrengthsFinder.
StrengthsFinder, yeah. But we can say this human will be great at executing. This person's great at strategic thinking. I, as the leader, a lot of my strengths fall into influencing. And you want that for your leader because I can help sway opinions to my team's side. So a lot of times we'll lean into that. With my staff, we have our values as an agency that we lean into, but my staff specifically in the digital team, they have to be entrepreneurial. So I talk a lot to them about making their own path. That's how I grew up at DCI. I forged my own path. So I will support any of our staffers who are like, I want to learn more about analytics. How can I do that? We might not have a role for them right then, but I'll talk to them about what they're learning, and then how do we apply this to clients? What's the service we can offer? What's the product? And then they can eventually...
Like an entrepreneur. You create entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs, yeah. And they're awesome. I have a team of 20, and they're all go-getters. They're all activators, high achievers. So we lean into that. And we talk a lot about it. And I very much talk a lot to them also about mental health, because we're all come out of COVID. So for me, the leadership qualities I want for them, to let them know about me: I'm transparent, I'm authentic, and maybe not humble all the time, but and I'll also get their back. So if somebody's being rude or we have some internal politics happening, I'll come and I'll protect my team. So they know I always have their backs, they have mine, and we're constantly growing and evolving them. So I just promoted 2 people to director, trying to promote another one to vice president.
When you promote director, are they still reporting you or someone else?
They will report to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a question about cadence of performance meetings with the team.
Yep.
How do you do that?
So we have annual reviews where we set goals, and our goals are always tied into our core competencies. So project management, client relations, client management, sales, thought leadership. Now, the junior staff, they're not worried about sales or thought leadership. So we'll talk to them about the goals they need to get to the next level. So, and then I meet with them. We have biannual meeting, mid-year review. How are you tracking on your goals? If they're not tracking, we'll talk about why. And we might say, hey, has this goal evolved? Does this goal even work anymore for what you're doing? So we'll do that. But then I also just do one-on-ones with them every other week. And a lot of times, sometimes personal stuff comes up and I'll coach them through that. But I really look at my role as a coach and a mentor to them.
I love it.
Yeah.
Where can people find them out? Tell people the website again.
So the website is about D as in dog, CI.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Susan, thanks
Jeremy.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
All right, Jeremy Weiss here. I'm live at Jason Swank Mastermind with some of the smartest minds on the planet. I'm here with Phil. And Phil, just tell people your name, your company, and what you do.
Philip Hill, Purebred Marketing is our company. We help small to mid-sized direct-to-consumer brands scale through their most profitable channels.
And when partnering is some of the most profitable channel you can actually imagine, because you borrow from other people's audiences, right? So if I know you help a lot of consumer brands, and you specialize in SEO and affiliate marketing, if someone's thinking like, I know I need to do this affiliate marketing thing, what are some mistakes you've seen and suggestions?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest mistakes is just having it as like a passive referral program. So when you talk about partnerships, go seek out those partnerships where you see that they already have your audience. Use that audience they already have, hot buyers, as opposed to just having customers that like maybe will promote your products to their friends. Because a lot of those audiences, people that have audiences dialed in, they know how to work their audiences and they know how to make them convert, as opposed to just like getting a brand out there. And it's kind of the lowest hanging fruit that you can get. And I tell everybody it's the lowest risk, highest reward marketing channel there
100%. So when someone coming to you and they're like, yes, I want to do this, I want to implement this affiliate marketing program, how does it work to start?
Yeah. So the first thing is we're going to define who your target audiences are, and there are probably going to be a number of those. And then from there, so we deep dive into the brand to understand the ins and outs of the brand. And then from there, it's looking at relationships we already have and really using the search engines. So a lot of what we do is SEO. So we want to rank for the terms that make sense for that brand, but there's only going to be 1 or 2 listings of your own for a specific keyword phrase on Google. So now let's take up more of the real estate with these review sites and bloggers and things like that, where maybe you're on half of the first page listings as well. And so seeking out who those people are that already have existing content and existing articles that you could plug into, that's a great way to get a lot of top of funnel traffic quickly. Then on top of that, we work with a lot of technology partners that can, like, they'll throw deals up and offers, and not as much coupon sites. We do manage the coupon sites, but technology partners that you can work with that. It doesn't take content creation. Like they're implementing you into, they have a lot of AI that implements you into existing content as well. That's extremely scalable. And so figuring out who do you reach out to? Who are those partners? Who do you reach out to? And then how do you work with them to increase average order values? Like how do you test deals that are going to work with them? And then it's really like an optimization from there. A lot of people, that's what most people miss out on. They look at it as like influencer marketing or PR, and then they leave it alone. Where if you can look at specific offers that are working well, specific calls to action, specific creatives that are working well on with certain affiliates, like once we've onboarded hundreds of affiliates, we want to now go to the others, and it's, you're driving clicks, but they're not converting, or you're getting a bunch of traffic to these pages, but we're not getting clicks. Here's what the other affiliates are doing that's working really well. Why don't you try this or that?
It's like talking dirty to a consumer company saying increase average order volume. But where can people check you out and learn more about your company?
Purebredmarketing.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram. Instagram's the Philip Hill, LinkedIn, Philip Hill.
Purebredmarketing.com. You heard it here. Check it out. Thanks, everyone. All right, Jeremy Weiss here. We're here live. Actually, we're in Colorado right now at the Jason Swig Mastermind with some of the smartest marketing minds, and I'm here with Glenn. And Glenn, just tell people your name and your company and what you do.
For sure. So Glenn Moore, I'm with Bear Fox Marketing, and what we do is we help companies that are focused in on B2B lead generation. We focus in on the SEO side of things, so helping them move up in their rankings to generate revenue from the leads that they have. So we work with a lot of SaaS companies that are maybe they're mid-size, small, they're just getting established, and they're trying to scale in a predictable way so that they can build up more authority from their website and get revenue from it.
So is there a typical lifetime value of like a B2B SaaS that works with you?
Yeah. Usually what we're seeing with SaaS is, if you've got a really good churn rate, your lifetime value, we're looking for things like over $1,000, $2,000 in terms of lifetime value. Sometimes it's much, much larger than that. But usually we're looking at a few things, like we're looking at the cost per acquisition for that initial subscription, or for how we monetize that investment. And so that cost per acquisition is really important. Being able to convert people, get those leads coming in and warm them up is really important. And so those are some of the things we look at.
So a B2B SaaS company comes to you and they're like, we want more leads, right? Mm-hmm. Where do you start? What do you do with them?
Yeah, I think the first thing we like to do, we do what's called a rankings to revenue strategy. So basically what that is our team takes about a week, and what we'll look at is all aspects. We'll look at their competitors, we'll look at their health, both the technical aspects of their site. Some of this might sound a little nerdy, but we kind of like to nerd out, right? But we'll look at the technical strength of their site. We'll see, do they have a good foundation to build on from a technical standpoint? And then we'll see, we'll look at keywords and we'll find the best opportunities where they could win, right? So we'll say, hey, you might have a competitor that's bigger than you, but hey, if we focus in on this particular keywords that are very relevant for what you're trying to capture, or your software is trying to capture, then we can get a very specific blueprint on how can we go get that, how can we build up your rankings and get revenue that way. So we do that, and right now we're offering that as kind of a free service, because we found that a lot of our folks that do it, the majority of them that do it, will go on and do services with us because they see the value.
You show how smart you are, what the kind of the potential is, and like what can you do with us?
Yeah, and if they want to go do it and take it and do it themselves, they can. Or if they want to implement the plan and do it themselves, they can do that. Or if they want to partner up with our team to help them do that, they can do that as well.
So tell people the name of your website. Where can they find you again?
Sure. It's bearfoxmarketing.com. And there's actually a form there you can fill out. You can set up a time to meet with either me or somebody else on the team. And I'm happy to kind of offer that up, to kind of go over that exercise and help you with that strategy if you're in that boat right now. So,
how did you come up with the name? Bear Fox
Good
Marketing?
question. Yeah. So my business partner, his name is Bear. Okay. And I've got way back when I was a kid, my dad and I, we were in Indian Guides, and my name was Climbing Fox. So
Indian Guides. So what does that look like?
It was kind of associated with the YMCA, and it was kind of a father and son thing. And so you just would come up with a name that was your kind of call name, and then we'd go out with our dads and do all sorts of fun things outside. So when we were thinking about a
Is
name,
it kind of like the Cub Scouts, like Indian
Yeah.
guys? Oh, gotcha.
yeah, but it was like 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, so it was a little bit younger than Cub Scouts.
Why
but,
climbing fox? What?
well, I when I was a kid, I just was really curious and I'd get into everything, right? So I would climb up on stuff, get up on the fridge and spill everything all over the place. And so that was the name my dad gave me. So
I love it.
yeah.
Bear Fox Marketing.
Yeah.
Check it out. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks.
Jeremy Wise here. We're here live at the Jason Swig Mastermind. We're in Colorado with Cowboy Duncan. Duncan, tell people your company and what you do.
Indian Cowboy Duncan. I am the founder of Firebelly Marketing, and we are a social media focused agency. Yeah, we do a lot of different things with social.
Who do you specialize in?
Food and beverage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take, for example, since you're an expert in social, let's say, food and beverage, it could be an up and coming candy company, ice cream company. What are some things that people are making mistakes on and what they could be doing better?
So I think there's a large tendency for the story to be focused on the brand's perception of the story as opposed to the audience's perception of the brand and the expectations of the brand. And really the best way is probably to do a little of both, so you have your perception, but you also meet the audience's needs. And a lot of times you see the disconnect and, people will say, we're affordable luxury for all. Well, but our best clients are all, upper middle class or, higher earning people. So there's a disconnect. We want to be for everyone, but we're really not.
They're talking too broad and not to their specific audience. When you're working with someone, do you kind of drill down on who they should be talking to?
Yeah, the challenge with social has been that it's very difficult to tell stories on social. And so you have to find a way to tell that story with every little piece of the jigsaw that's coming at you in a nonlinear fashion. And we've recently switched to video first. So we're using video to tell stories because, social's always been visual, but somehow it's always been driven by copy for a lot of brands, but we're changing that.
So do you think people are too graphic image heavy then and not doing enough video?
Maybe it's more of a copy driven approach. And I think the reason for the copy driven approach is because it's a preoccupation with voice and tone, which I'm not saying they're not important, but in an ecosystem where people don't read a whole lot, you're investing your time maybe in the wrong place, arguing over comma when the visual is what is really the engaging piece. And yes, I think even with static imagery, it's better to have a diversity of imagery than all your own brand pictures. So you want to have, some energy and vibe from other people as well, creators or UGC.
What mistakes do you see people making when creating video?
Overproduced video is probably the number one thing you see. They also don't know how to tell stories in 7 seconds or 15 seconds. They don't know how to bring it to a close. They don't know how. There's a lot of things that video in a hyper distracted world or hyper focused world, whichever you want to say, but there's a lot of video that doesn't hit it. I think that TikTok has forced us all, and Reels and TikTok have forced us to really re-examine how we work with video.
Let's talk about overproduced. Right now we're on a phone, okay? And you may get pushback from clients like, oh no, like we're luxury, it's got to be, our customers expect a certain standard. How do you address that to them?
I think there's a lot of brands that are savvy that understand that their audience doesn't want overproduced, but I think the problem is that they're unable to break out of the way they've just done things. We've always done it this way, so it's like, hey, everything's got to be highly produced. And the problem with that approach inherently is, they don't have internal resources. They may not have people, they may not have the budget. And there's also a mindset, right, of content all the time, wherever it's coming from. So I think there's a challenge there with this understanding how this high volume video paradigm even works. So and so the other thing is that you have to shoot a lot sometimes to get a little.
Tell people, where can they find you? Where's your website?
Firebellymarketing.com.
Firebellymarketing.com. Check it out. Thanks, everyone. Hey, Jeremy Weiss here. We're here actually at the Jason Swig Mastermind. This is a little bit different change of scenery. We're actually at the greenhouse here with Pete. And just, Pete, tell people a little bit about your company. First, your name, your company, and what you do.
Sure. Pete Cunningham, Evolve Healthcare Marketing. Essentially, we work with mid to large physician practices to get more patients faster, better, cheaper.
You have a special thing that you do with practices, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but some of them, they start with 10 locations and all of a sudden they're at 40 locations. We can't make any promises here, but you do have this patient acquisition diagnostic that you do, and I think it's applicable to a lot of businesses. Tell us what that is.
So the patient acquisition diagnostic is something that we do for some practices when maybe they're doing all the marketing internally, or they're using agency, or they're doing both, and they want to know how they're doing or faring versus their competition or industry benchmarks on all aspects of digital marketing, patient acquisition, patient engagement, and so forth. So what we do is we have 33 different diagnostic points that we look at, from website, digital marketing, SEO, patient engagement, and so forth. And we score 1 to 5, 5 being best. And we're able to lay out for them how they're doing in all those aspects so they can get an independent, objective view on how things are going and how they're faring.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I'm feeling like $100 grand.